What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Choose Your Own Path. So today is the day we are going to do the pour, you'll see in a second, on the big Alligator river table. Now, we picked up a eco-epoxy kit. Now, this is not sponsored by them. I did speak to the guy from eco-epoxy. He said he can't do any kind of sponsoring, which is fine. It is what it is. So we picked it up. The cost of it was about 86 bucks for, this is a 1.5 liter box. So you have a 1 liter of, this is the resin, and then 500 milliliters of the hardener. So you got, it's a 2-to-1 mixture. This is going to be a big pour. It says on the box to not go over 2 liters, which is fine because we're only going to be doing 1.5, obviously, because that's all we have in here. So it may end up being a 2 pour part, because I'm moving it down. You can see the table. The table is pretty, it's not overly deep, like you're talking about a couple of millimeters. The problem is it's a long length of pouring to do. So what I want to do is I'll get this mixed up, and we're going to start off by pouring it on the Alligator so that it does get underneath and then over, and then as it levels itself out, we'll try to get into the corners. What we want to do is get it just up to the lip of the table, so these parts are lower than the lip. So the purpose is basically, what we're doing is we're trying to get it so it's flat up to the lily pads so that you can still place, cups or plates or whatever on it. It's a show table. Who knows if it'll be used? We'll see. So we're going to start off by getting this mixed up. It's 5 minutes. We're going to pour both containers into this big clean pail. We have our gloves, well ventilated area. Obviously we're in the garage, the door will be open. Wearing a respirator, glasses is very important, but we're doing a pour that's away from everything. We have our gloves just to make sure. So 5 minutes of mixing into a clean pail. You shouldn't have anything in there, no hair, no dust. And we're gonna get that really, really mixed up. So I'll do that off camera, and then I'll come back with the pour. All right, guys, so we have our mixture. We did a 5-minute mix. The trick to these things is not to mix, like to go too fast, too violent, because it creates a lot of air bubbles. So here we go. We're just going to do a pour. I know this isn't going to do what we want to do. It's not going to fill the whole thing up, but we're going to go with it. Yeah, definitely won't do a full pour. It won't go as much as we want it to go, but so that means we'll have to purchase another bottle of this. But we'll scrape out as much as we can. Okay. And with our glove, we're just going to take off most of the Alligator itself, the epoxy from the Alligator, because it doesn't need to be on the Alligator, it needs to be around it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tilt the table towards me so it kind of runs a little bit more here and there. All right, and that will kind of even it out somewhat. Obviously there is not enough epoxy to fill this whole layer. It almost looks like it probably need another 2 bottles. So, probably another, this is going to be like probably a 6, what did I say, 1.5, 6 liters around epoxy. Now that's a lot of epoxy, but if you want the table to be even, that's what you have to put into here. It is the way it is. I want to fill up all the gaps. And then I'm just touching it so everything gets a little bit of epoxy everywhere. As long as it gets the main part, which is under the alligator itself, because the alligator is not level to the table. I didn't level it properly, which is fine, it works. This stuff will harden as rock. I'm trying to push down all the grass so that it stays level and it gets, you know, everything gets a little bit of a touch. So the next couple of pours obviously would cover the whole table itself. Now we're looking at least a good week of curing time with everything to go on, is at least 2 days to 3 days for each pour. And in this way, we know that the table is full. Now, I honestly think if I ever did another table like this again, I wouldn't do it so many bumps. I would just try to do it flat. I think it would be a lot easier. This is a first time test for us. I'm doing this. There's a lot of little gaps that need to be filled. But obviously we would need a bigger bottle, a bigger amount for the next time. Trial and error, guys, trial and error. So we're gonna let this set. I'm gonna clean it up a bit and then I'll get back to you. All right, so the pour's in. Now really, you can't tell that it did very much even at 1.5. 1.5 liters is not a big amount for a huge table like this to be doing, Mr. Cookie. And yeah, it's definitely gonna take a lot more epoxy than I'm thinking. So they do have a bigger bottle, which is a lot more money. Now that basically says I'm going to be running into about $300 just for epoxy. The wood was free, obviously, so that didn't do anything to me. And the time, well, it's my time. I still need to, I'd like to put epoxy, you know, in there, like around it, just to seal it, which is fine. It's just like leftovers. The last pour will basically just a rub around it. So anyway, we'll let this cure and go from there. All right. Guys, so rookie move. I forgot to seal the bottom like a dumbass. Look at the spill. It's not huge amounts. It's just a little bit of leak. We put a little bit of a black light under it. I'm going to show you here. You can see there's some leaks happening there. That and a little bit on that side. My mistake. Not even thinking. Just too much of a rush for nothing. Anyway, so I'm just keeping an eye on it, taking a brush, and then basically just pulling it back till it cures. Hopefully the black light helps a bit. I used a spray on it, which I'll use a leak seal on it. It helps, but it'll take a while to dry. Just to let you know that the epoxy is in there at a good depth. Most of it went under the alligator to seal in there, and it has a little bit of a leak under there. You know what? Again, my mistake, stupidity. But what I'm going to do is it's just going to dry. This is not an issue. It'll dry hard and seal my cement anyway. I don't care. It's my garage. So now, when this is cured, it will be definitely no more leaks. But what I'll do is after 2-3 days of it being solid, I will flip it upside down. And I'm going to give it a leak seal all on the wood and really make sure the bottom is covered. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe too much of a rush to get this epoxy on it. Didn't think. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, we'll get back on to another part. So like I said, if I can do it, you could do it. Choose your own path. We'll be back.